Hello friends and welcome to yet another video on TutorialsPoint with Ms.Richa. Today we're going to talk about again an interesting module known as public relations. Well friends, before we even start with this particular module, I'd like to share two very nice quotations with you. The first quotation is by Bill Gates, who says, "If I was down to my last dollar, I would spend it on public relations." Well, beautifully said that. And second quotation is by an anonymous writer who says, "It takes 20 years to build a repetition and only 5 minutes to ruin the repetition." Well, that brings us to the very most important point on public relations and the importance of this particular module. Let's get started immediately. On the agenda today, we will discuss what public relations is all about. We will also talk about what are the different functions of public relations, models and approaches to public relations. We will also talk about the best of practices for having excellence in public relations. Last but not the least, we will talk about what are the duties and responsibilities of a public relations officer. Well, I'm very excited to teach you on this particular module, so let's not waste any time and get into it right away. So friends, what do we exactly mean by the term public relations? Well, public relations has taken the world by a complete surprise. Everywhere you see, whether it's newspapers, radio, online or offline, people are busy trying to promote their public relations, the image of the company, as well as the brand that they are heading. So public relations is a strategic form of communication that builds mutually beneficial relationships between the organization and the public. Well, every organization today has a public relation officer who helps to make this communication between the organization and the audience a very lucrative kind of an environment wherein in no other circumstances, or rather in no circumstances at all, the company's image is to be at stake. PR professionals, there are a lot of people who are getting into PR nowadays. They cultivate lots and lots of stories which might be imaginary as well as real, that portrays the client's reputation, the ideas, the products, the positions or the achievements in a very, very positive frame of light. And that's very important because any negative publicity at times is also positive publicity. So people do everything possible in order to get that publicity for themselves. Now let's take a look at what are the different functions of public relations. We're going to discuss about 4 or 5 different functions here. Let me start with the first and the foremost, which is community relations. Well, an organization's planned, active and continued participation in the community to enhance its relationship with the same. So every organization tries to make sure that the relation between them and the community is always at a good place and there is no disorientation between them. This includes partnerships, or it could be voluntary activities, as well as certain philanthropic contributions that they are doing for the society. Well, the second function of public relation is media representation. Now, as I mentioned earlier, every particular company or organization has a PR person that takes care of distributing both the video, the written, as well as the online, pitching stories to journalists and responding to reporters whenever they might ask for certain things. Now, here it becomes very important to understand that these public relation officers have to make sure that they are keeping the media at a very fair level from themselves, which means it is one of the most important responsibilities of a PR professional in order to make sure that the company is always portrayed in the right kind of positive image. The next kind of a function of a PR person is crisis communication. Now, whenever there is a crisis in the organization or in the company, the PR person has to be really tactful and diplomatic in handling these crises in the best way possible so that nothing negative comes onto the company and no different kind of, pessimist remarks are put on the, about the company on their social media pages as well as even off the media. So crisis management or crisis communication is a very, very important function of a public relation person. The next one that they have to do is content development. Well, it's very important that the public relation officer who's working in any company needs to make sure that they have to prepare documents, both written as well as electronic. Whenever the need arises, they have to issue certain statements on the public platform as well as the offline and online measures as well. These documents include the company's the newsletters, the blogs, newspaper articles, speeches, as well as annual reports. So what basically I'm trying to say is that everything is out there in the open for people to take a call on. This team also works with the other departments to ensure that the overall process is in alignment with the company's objectives. So every department works together with the PR department, making sure that only the positive image of the company is going on, and all the content, documents, everything is made sure that it is in the right manner itself, which will not affect the company negatively. Stakeholders relations, this is again another important function of public relations. An organization PR team represents to its stakeholders. Now these stakeholders could be anybody. It could be even the company's employees, it could be lenders, it could be government agencies, or it could even be the vendors who are doing work for the company. The team should work on building a positive image for their current stakeholders as well as the potential stakeholders which are likely to come in the near future. The next function is that of social media management. Now, well, we have already spoken about how important is social media in today's time and age. It becomes very important that a PR person is able to handle the social media in the positive manner by making sure that they are regularly updating, monitoring, and growing the organization's online presence. Today, everything is on social media, be it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, etc. So the PR person has to make sure that they're consistent in updating about the company's things on their social media pages. Tasks like updating the Facebook page, tweeting information, keeping an eye on what other people are talking about your company and organization is also one of the roles and responsibilities of a PR person. Now friends, we are going to take a look at the different models and approaches to public relations. Here we are going to talk about 4 particular models in some time, which is, the first is publicity model, which is always a one-way communication. When any company or celebrity or entrepreneur wants to make some statements publicly, they do it as a one-way communication, which is basically for publicity purpose. The second is the public information model, again, which is a one-way communication. When they want the public to know about something, to be informed about something, that is where they give out a one-way communication to them. The third one is one-way asymmetrical module. Now this is again a two-way communication between the organization and the audience, etc. And the last one is two-way symmetrical model, which is again a two-way communication between both the parties. So these are the 4 models of PR which is followed generally globally all over the world. Now it is very, very essential to understand that if you are doing public relations, how do you excel in that? Now there are different ways of doing it. The PR team should focus on the strategic constituencies perspective, which means that they should develop some strategies and maintain good relation with the important stakeholders in their company. The next is that they should focus on the goal achievement perspective, which means that the goals should be measurable, it should be ranked, market shares, sales numbers, etc. So everything should be in line with the goals and the mission of the company, the profit it wants to achieve, the sales numbers, etc. When all of that is clear, the public relation officer can really work towards building a positive image for the company. Well, now we're going to discuss on certain duties and responsibilities of a PR person. Let's take a look at that. They are involved in a lot of communication management. They also handle at times the crisis management whenever there is a crisis with strikes. They also do a lot of issues management, which could be within the company or it could be, outside external forces, etc. Relationship management is also something that's a duty and responsibility of them. Reputation or the image of the company is also at stake at times, so they have to manage it. Resource management, making the best use of the optimum utilization of resources. risk management, as well as strategic management. So in short, friends, these are certain duties and responsibilities which each and every public relation officer needs to make sure that they are hands-on and good at. Well, friends, to conclude this particular topic on public relations, we have understood how important and paramount is public relation department in various organizations around the globe. The PR team is really responsible for a lot of work, which means maintaining a positive image of the organization, making sure that in the eyes of the public, the organization looks only top class and nothing else. It is also working on maintaining good relations with the stakeholders who could be internal as well as external. They work on updating, monitoring and growing the presence of the companies either online as well as offline as well. Well, friends, that's all I had to say about public relations. It is one of the most important module and I would really urge you to listen very actively to this particular one. Thank you very much for watching us. Please do keep watching, more videos coming your way. Till then, thank you.